Hey kids, welcome back to the channel. I'm Zach, not Kyle, or Zach for short, and today it's time to finish my 3-part series on why I think the Sentinel event is straight up fighting and flopping. Welcome back to the shenanigans. I hope we will be able to finish it off in this thrilling, groundbreaking, mind-boggling finale. So anyways, this part of the series is going to be about the visual novel and the finale with Absolution, kind of intertwined with each other, and also talking about what the event tried to be, aka a better Spirit Blossom. In my opinion, it was a worse Spirit Blossom, but don't worry, we'll talk about that. Gird your loins, get your iced lattes, and let's finish what we started. Before I start though, I'm on other platforms like Twitch, Instagram, Discord, and Twitter, so follow me over there for some awkward punchlines. And here's a fun fact, over 70% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed to me, so just go ahead and do it already. And with that, let's describe the trials, tribulations, and shenanigans of the Sentinel event, hopefully for the last time. When I talk about the visual novel for the first part of this video, I'll address the characters individually, so I'll be starting with Lucian and ending with Akshan. Here we go. Lucian is easily the biggest heel turn I have ever seen in a visual novel. His writing is hard to read because he is so abrasive and unlikable, especially for a protagonist. Shenanigans of his include taking bets with Thresh that almost caused the rookie to die at the end of Ruination, being extremely hard to work with, and Lucian telling Rookie that certain Sentinels shouldn't be there. Olaf and Rengar are notable examples. But yeah, Lucian bad, I don't like him. Senna is similar to Lucian in that she is a dick for the entirety of this campaign. However, where Lucian does it because he can, Senna has genuine motivation because she wants to stop Viego, but is hurting because of her past with Thresh. She is a lot nicer than Lucian is, so Senna is still redeemable, but her snarky moments are really painful, and if she didn't have them, she would be a solid character. I find it funny that this campaign is about a massive sim, and I'm not talking about Viego, that's the real problem here. Gwen is over here single-scissoredly saving this entire campaign. Like, what the fuck? Gwen is so likable in just her own little slice of fun. I love that she is the stylist and she's able to fight with the Sentinels. However, I mentioned this in my first Sentinels video, I believe. There's too many of them at this point. Gwen needed a Sentinel skin because her palette sticks out like a sore thumb. Regardless, holy shit, I love her in this campaign. Queen of Pop, 10 out of 10. Yes, Gaga! Vayne is both good and bad writing. I think that her snarky meme responses were honestly just really weirdly done. However, this makes sense for her character. Vayne's arrogance does get in the way of her endearment to the audience. For me, I would just start to like her and then immediately be smacked in the face with her ego. However, I think she was well written with the standards of this event. And I said this in my first video, if Vayne is one of your best pieces of writing, you've definitely done something wrong. Olaf. God, what a dumbass. I understand the motivation behind what Olaf does because he wants a warrior's death. As in, I can see it and read it with my own eyes. However, he needed to stop throwing himself at everything in the 3rd chapter of this. He never fucking stops. He also draws traits from Rengar, Pike, and his main lore, which calls into question his character decision, especially since Sentinel Braum would have been better because Braum is in the Ruined King game. Irelia is absolutely insufferable. Holy shit. Her and Riven are generally hard to read. Irelia is way too uptight, and her character as a leadership figure in Ionia makes her a terrible Sentinel since they have a leader already named Lucian and Senna. I also think her design is really lame compared to everyone else. She just doesn't stick out a lot. She could have not existed and the campaign would have been no different because of how much she didn't do anything other than bicker with Riven. Speaking of her, Riven's next. She is less bad in relation to Irelia's writing, but she still is about as intelligent in her playground insults as a 4th grader, but I think she isn't horrid. Her intelligence in terms of battle and stealth and the Noxus part is really cool to watch. She is redeemable, but I would have edited her in Irelia's writing, and then Riven would have been a perfect character because she's useful and has her great moments. Now, if you've noticed, there is a couple Sentinels that I haven't mentioned yet, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Pike is not one that you were thinking of yet, because Pike literally could not have existed and you wouldn't have noticed. There was not enough Pike and it came too late when he did anything. He really should have been the Ruin champion because Miss Fortune was doing all of the work for the Bilgewater part until she's ruined. I needed the roles to be flipped and everything would have been fine. Hell, if Graves was the Bilgewater Sentinel instead of Pike, it would have been forgivable. Speaking of Graves, what a legend. I love Graves in the writing, and he's hot, but don't tell him I said that. I will say this, why is he the Zaun champ if he's from Bilgewater when characters like Camille, Warwick, Echo, etc. would have made amazing Sentinels with interesting stories? Someone tell me. However, Graves is the comic relief we all needed, and I'm happy he's here, if a bit misguided. Also, Graves to Akshan in the finale. Here's the clip of that. It is so funny.
Don't nobody here own a shirt? Well, I didn't mean you.
Graves, you're being horny on the main. Okay, so moving on from a pretty good character to the absolute worst character. Rengar is honestly a sad one because they massacred his character and showed no mercy. You cannot sit here and tell me an apex predator of the Ixtal jungle who worked his way up strategically yet ruthlessly is dumb as a fucking rock. And here's the thing, you know he's written poorly when in the Ixtal story, Lucian is making a deal with Thresh that leads us into the Shurima campaign to find Akshan, and Rengar literally tells him not to take it, and Lucian doesn't listen, takes it anyway, and it later almost kills the rookie. Justice for Rengar. Riot, why did you do this to him? I want answers. Also, why does he refer to himself in the third person? He's never done that. It's stupid, it's dumb and stupid. I hate it, and I need redemption for everybody's favorite critty shitty titty bitty kitty. Diana wasn't given enough of a role to me. She kind of faded compared to the other bullshit in this story. However, I wouldn't say she's bad. She just didn't have enough. Although I think her story with Pantheon was pretty good. Speaking of which, why was Diana not in Absolution? Hello? Diana and Pantheon would have been set up for a fun storyline, and it would have killed in the animations. So yeah, Diana faded, justice for Diana. Akshan is brilliantly written, unlike everyone else in this campaign. He's a bit of an asshole, but unlike everyone else, he's extremely self-aware about it. I'm so here for his character because he's genuinely good meme material. The common theme with these characters is snarky dialogue, but instead of feeling backhanded, Akshan's is almost a volley between others until Lucian or Senna break it. Overall, I think Akshan is a pretty solid character, and initially I thought he was going to be bad, so good job, Riot. For once. Also, I'm not going to make a section on the Ruined Champs, but Vex is someone who was correctly written for what they were going for with the humor in this visual novel. Vex hates everyone, but also doesn't care, whereas the Sentinels hate opposition and care way too much when they get that. So Vex good, Sentinels bad. Riot, drop her now, please, and give her a Hot Topic X Goth skin look as a skin. Please and thank you. Cool, we went through all of the Sentinels individually. Now let's talk about this event that Sentinels of Light tried to one-up, Spirit Blossom. Spirit Blossom happened in 2020 around this same time period. It had some of the best skins from League of Legends to date, including Spirit Blossom Kindred, Ahri, Teemo, and more. These skins had great designs and intentions. They had their own stories that intersected back to the main story that you play through to get rewards like tokens, emotes, and more. There's a split between the skins of Kanmi and Akana with different orbs that, again, worked with the characters well in the main story. Now compare that to Sentinels of Light. They had too many characters whose stories all intersected with each other, causing a lot of confusing narratives that were hard to get through and remember who was there. I think if Irelia and Diana weren't there even, it would make the campaign a little bit more readable. Once you get to Ixtal, there's so much happening that the characters can go forever without doing anything, which makes them not as important. Hell, in the Absolution finale, Rengar, Riven, Irelia, Pike, and others weren't present, so why did they matter? Hell, going back to that Ixtal example, I'm pretty sure that most of the characters there, including Vayne, Olaf, and Gwen, didn't even say shit for most of that region. There's also the issue with the skins being too uniform. The skins are all white, black, and gold, nothing else. This proposes an issue that Spirit Blossom didn't have, the skins being too similar. Spirit Blossom's champions had such diverse skins that also looked like a complete set together, which is the ideal look for this type of thing. Sentinels of Light and the Ruined skins work with the same palette of grayscale, gold, or green. When there isn't a lot of change to that, it doesn't make you want the skins as much as Spirit Blossom because of a lack of color and diversity. Finally, the event in general was overhyped to death. I talked about this a bit in part 2, but in relation to Spirit Blossom, it is clear they wanted a set period with engaging stories, characters, and skins jam-packed into a few weeks. I forget it was 4 or 6. Lilia and Yone dropped into the event 2 weeks apart, and this was a great move. Compare that to SOL, Viego dropped in complete contrast to this in January. The event was in July. Vex isn't dropping until September despite being in the visual novel. There is too long of a distance, and if another character linked to the Ruination or Viego drops later, it's going to be a disaster. This event was bad, but Riot isn't going to acknowledge it because of how much work they did, and that is the truth, T-babes. So in conclusion, Riot, do better at your events, plan better for your events. I need to finish my iced latte next to me because I have somewhere to be, and I need to do videos not related to the Ruination before my sanity goes out the window. Thank you guys so much for sticking through 3 weeks of this shit with me. This took forever to write and make, so drop a like and a sub, it really means a lot. We're close to 100 subs, so let's try and get there before my Coven video next week. And with that, that's gonna be it for this video, so go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to become not Kyle. If your name is Kyle, that is illegal here, as you can tell from the name of my channel. You do have to get a new birth certificate. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. And with that, I will see you guys later. Bye, sis.
Come on, Aaron, give me one chance. I don't